ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. नमा ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Okay, so sharing the screen now, and we will read from verse 20th today. So now Shruta Goswami is starting to answer all their questions, and he's talking about Vyasdev first, about his inspiration. Okay. So he was Trikaldarshi, and he was able to see in the future that how this Kali Yuga folks will be, and it will be really hard for them to follow through the scriptures. So to simplify them, he divided the Vedas, one Veda, into four, and there four divisions of original source of knowledge were made separately, but historical facts and authentic stories mentioned in the Puranas are called fifth Veda. So we saw that Puranas and Itihasas like Ramayana and Mahabharat, they were beyond these four Vedas, means they had all the contents of the Veda, means the essence of the Veda plus more. So they are called as fifth Veda. Now, text 21. I think text 20 probably. ऋग्यजु सामाथर्व्याख्या वेदाश्चत्वार उद्धृतः इतिहासपुराणं च पंचमो वेद उच्यते. ऋग्यजुः साम अथर्व आख्याः, the names of four Vedas, the Vedas, चत्वारः, four, उद्धरतः, made into separate parts, itihasa, historical records, Mahabharat, Puranam cha, itihasa, they have given example of Mahabharat, Puranam cha, and the Puranas, Panchamaha, the fifth Veda, the original source of knowledge, Uchyate, is said to be. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The four divisions of the original sources of knowledge, the Vedas, were made separately. But the historical facts and authentic stories mentioned in the Puranas are called the fifth Veda. 21. तत्र वेदधरः पैलः सामगो जैमिनिः कविः वैशम्पायन एवैको निष्णातो यजुषामुत. Tatra, thereupon, Rigveda Dharaha, the professor of Rigveda, Pailaha, the rishi named Paila, Samagaha, that of the Samaveda, Jaimini, the rishi named Jaimini, Kaviya, highly qualified, Vaishampayanaha, the rishi named Vaishampayana, Eva, only Ekaha, alone, Nishnataha, well versed, Yajusham, of the Yajurveda, Uta, glorified. After the Vedas were divided into four divisions, Paila Rishi became professor of Rig Veda. So they were Vyasdev's disciple, and Vyasdev gave the responsibility of one particular Veda to each of them. Paila Rishi became the professor of Rig Veda, Jaimini the professor of Samaveda, and Vaishampayan alone became glorified by the Yajur Veda. The different Vedas were entrusted to different learned scholars for development in various ways. I could be wrong if they were disciples of him or not, but yeah, they were very renowned scholars. So I'll need to find if they were not, they were disciples or not. 22. अथर्वांगिर सामासीत् सुमंतुर दारुणो मुनिः इतिहास पुराणानां पिता मेरो महर्षणः. Atharva. The Atharva Veda, Angirasam, unto the Rishi Angira, Asit was entrusted, Sumantuhu, also known as Sumantu Muni. Darunaha, seriously devoted to Atharva Veda, Muni, the sage, Itihasa Purananam, of the historical records and the Puranas, Pita, father, me, mine, Romaharshana, the Rishi Romaharshana. The Sumantu Muni Angira, who was very devotedly engaged, was entrusted with Atharva Veda. And my father, who is speaking here, Suta Goswami, my father, Romaharshana Suta, his name was Romaharshana Suta. And my father, Romaharshana, was entrusted with the Puranas and historical records. Right? So now we can remember these facts. Paila Rishi, Rigved, Jaimini, Samaved, Vaishampayan, Yajurved, Sumantu Muni, Angira, Atharva Ved, and Romaharshan was entrusted with Puranas and historical records like Mahabharat and Bhagavad Puran, all these kind of Puranas. Sorry, not that time, probably no, Vyas, they will compile later. But yeah, all those Puranas that were already in existence. In the Shruti mantras also it is stated that Angira Muni, who strictly followed the rigid principles of the Atharva Veda, was the leader of the followers of Atharva Veda. So Angira Muni was entrusted that duty, and also he was the leader of followers of Atharva Veda. 23. Ta etarushayo vedam swam swam व्यस्यन्ने कदा शिष्यैः प्रशिष्यैस्त शिश्रेर्वेदास्ते शाखिनो भवन् ते दे एते all these rashayah, learned scholars, Vedam, the respective Vedas, swam in their own entrusted matters, Vyasam, Vyasyan, rendered, Anekada, many, Shishyai, disciples, Prashishyai, grand disciples, Tashishyai, great grand disciples, Vedahate, followers of the respective Vedas, Shaki Naha, different branches, Abhavan, thus became. Okay. So all these learned scholars in their turn rendered their entrusted Vedas unto their many disciples, right? So these four plus one, five, they rendered and entrusted Vedas into to their disciples, grand disciples and great grand disciples, and thus the respective branches of the followers of Vedas came into being. So now you can think about this, that many people ask this question, that why there are so many religions and there are so many sub branches and this that so many school of thoughts. This is because of this, that originally it was only one thing, but as it got spread more and more, which is a good thing actually in one sense, but many people started interpreting those in their own way. Therefore Srila Prabhupada instructed us very, very, means with a great urge, that never twist the meaning, just deliver it as it is, right? Some people might just to ornament it a little bit, her whatever they are speaking, they might add certain things which are not even aligned with the essence. So that is not recommended. Therefore, the title of his Bhagavad Gita is Bhagavad Gita as it is, because he understood the heart of Krishna and he was delivering the message as it is what Krishna wanted, right? So therefore, and also it's not that he was, directly doing that, linking with Krishna, but he was following his own superiors. So it is, he studied the commentaries of various acharyas, and if you will see in the front, Bhagavad Gita says it dedicated to Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan. So his commentary he studied very thoroughly. So he was, of course, I mean, taking references of many commentaries, but he understood the heart of Krishna, right? Therefore, many Maharaj mentioned this, that we read many versions of Bhagavad Gita, but when we read Srila Prabhupada's, it felt very simple and it was communicating the message very directly, and it was like a very hearty message, like Prabhupada was directly speaking with us, and it was communicated and delivered to our heart. It is so much heartfelt, and that's the potency of a pure devotee, that he understands Krishna's heart and he delivers it as it is. Therefore, Prabhupada's literature is very pure, and we should try to read it every day. Although I'm saying, and I also need a lot of prayers that I can read every day. But yeah, we should make a good try to read every day Srila Prabhupada's books, because they carry that purity of his intention. The original source of knowledge is the Vedas. There are no branches of knowledge, either mundane or transcendental, which do not belong to the original text of Veda, right? So there was only one thing, first of all, and there is nothing which is not in the Vedas. In currently in the material world, there is nothing that was not taken from Vedas. They have simply been developed into different branches. They were originally rendered by great respectable and learned professors. In other words, the Vedic knowledge, broken into different branches by different disciplic successions, has been distributed all over the world. No one therefore can claim independent knowledge beyond the Vedas, right? So everything, Vedas encompass everything. 24. त एव वेदा दुर्मेधैर्धार्ययन्ते धार्य दुमे दुर्मेधैर्धार्यन्ते पुरुषैर्यथा एवं चकार भगवान व्यासः कृपणवत्सलः. They that eva certainly Veda, the book of knowledge, durme dhai by the less intellectual, dharyante can assimilate, purushe by the man, yatha as much as, evam thus, chakara edited, Bhagavan the powerful, Vyasah the great sage Vyas, Krapana Vatsalah very kind to the ignorant mass. Thus, the great sage Vyasdev, who is very kind to the ignorant masses, edited the Vedas so they might be assimilated by less intelligent men. Right? Because of the effect of Kali Yuga, the values are degrading, and that's why intelligence is also degrading. Purports. The Veda is one, and the reasons for its divisions in many parts are explained herewith. The seed of all knowledge, or the Veda, is not a subject matter which can easily be understood by any ordinary man. There is a stricture that no one should try to learn the Vedas who is not a qualified Brahmana. This stricture has been wrongly interpreted in so many ways. So, if we read Namacharya Haridas Thakur, so in introduction, the author has given the situation at that time, how much Brahmanas were, suppressing the other classes because of misinterpretation. Brahmana means what? Brahma means purity. So one who is pure in heart is a Brahmana. So whichever lineage he is born in, some are born in Vaishya families, some are born in Shudra families, but that doesn't matter. They can be as pure as Brahmanas. So that's the qualification. But they used to think that by birth, the qualification is by birth, and which was a huge mistake. This stricture has been wrongly interpreted in so many ways. A class of men who claim Brahminical qualifications simply by their birthright in a family of a Brahmana claim that the study of Vedas is a monopoly of Brahmana caste only. Another section of the people take this as an injustice to member of other caste who do not happen to take birth in a Brahmana family, and which is really very fair thing. I mean, their birth is not in their control, right? Which family they will be born in, but their inclinations are in their control. If they are like very much equipoised people and controlled mind and senses, then they are definitely Brahmanas, whether they are born in a any other caste families. So, but both of them are misguided. So, what one section says that Veda is a monopoly of Brahmana caste, and another section says that people take this as an injustice of member of other caste who do not happen to take birth in a Brahmana family. But Prabhupada is saying both of them are misguided. The Vedas are subjects which had to be explained even to Brahmaji by the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the subject matter is understood by persons with exceptional qualities of goodness. Persons who are in modes of passion and ignorance are unable to understand the subject matter of the Vedas. The ultimate goal of Vedic knowledge is Sri Krishna. Vedescha sarve rahameva vedyo, right? In Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter. The personality of Godhead. This personality is very rarely understood by those who are in mode of passion and ignorance. Right? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschin yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tatvatah. Means the majority of mob is in mode of passion and ignorance. That's what Prabhupada says. Therefore, it's very difficult for people to understand Krishna. In Satya Yuga, everyone was situated in the mode of goodness. Gradually, the mode of goodness declined during the Treta and Dwapar Yugas, and the general mass of people became corrupt. In the present age, the mode of goodness is almost nil. And so, for the general mass of people, the kind hearted, powerful sage Srila Vyasdev divided the Vedas in various ways so that they may be practically followed by less intelligent persons in the mode of passion and ignorance. It is explained in next shloka as follows. So, there are 18 Puranas, right? So, 6, 6, and 6, they are divided according to the modes of nature also. स्त्री शूद्र बंधूनां त्रयी न श्रुति गोचरा कर्म श्रेयसि मूढ़ानां श्रेय एवं भवेदिह इति भारतमाख्यानं कृपया मुनिनां कृतम्. Sri, the women class, Shudra, the laboring class, Dvija Bandhunam of the friends of twice born, Trayi, the three sacrificial Vedas, Na Shruti Gochara, not allowed to be heard, Karma Shreyasi, in the successful execution of ritual duties, Mudhanam of the less intelligent, Shreya, supreme benefit, Evam, thus, Bhavet achieved Iha by this, Iti, thus thinking, Bharatam, the great Mahabharat, Akhyanam, historical facts, Krapaya, out of great mercy, Munina, by the Muni, Kritam is completed. Out of compassion, the great sage thought it wise that this world this would enable men to achieve the ultimate goal of life. Thus, he compiled the great historical narration called Mahabharata for women, laborers, and friends of the twice born. So, again, we have talked about this multiple times. Why woman is considered like that? Because these shastras require a lot of time to, study and assimilate, reflect upon it, and make notes, and deep study of shastras could not be done by women because they have to take care of many important other services also, right? And also their analytical brain is not that much strong, powerful as man, but their emotional brain is more powerful than man. Emotion, therefore they are caretakers, means they take care of the home, the kids, and they are artistically very smart, and they make very good decisions when it comes to benefit of their family and all those kind of things. And that's how women are different from men, right? So to assist them that so that they can also study Vedas, Vyasdev actually created Mahabharata. So while they are taking care of their duties, still they can be learned in the Vedas, right? And similarly, laborers, same thing. They don't have time, to just sit and reflect, which is a job of Brahmanas, because they don't do any, like their main job, their nature is to study and share that knowledge. Okay, so friends of the twice born means what? That twice born means dvija or a brahmana, means once they are biologically born, and second time they are born when the upanayan or initiation or diksha happens. So, but those who are born in the Brahmana family, but they don't behave like Brahmanas, so they are called as friends of the Brahmanas, not Brahmanas. They are called as friends of the Brahmanas. So, since they are not behaving like Brahmana, means they are behaving lesser than Brahmanas, so like Vaishya or Shudra or something like that. So, even for them, it will be very easy to understand the Vedas. Now, I also read Mahabharat with my mom, and we are almost at 3/4, because like two thick books, still it called as abridged Mahabharata. So Mahabharata is very huge, 24,000 verses. But my journey has been so like purifying, and so deep reverence and respect for the Pandavas, and understanding both the sides, and how sometimes the nature of Duryodhan, that envy, reflects in my own heart, and how when I follow the instructions, then I feel sheltered like Pandavas in Krishna's lotus feet. So all those very beautiful experiences I went through, and I felt that yes, these stories helped me. It's so hard for me to just sit and go through Bhagavad Gita very deeply. Although there was a time when I used to, because when that time my children were very little, so I had that kind of time. But now they are very active, they want to go here and there, and they want to talk, and they want to interact, and all those things, plus work is also there. So I feel that yes, this kind of literature really helps us, and still we are able to learn the principles of shastras, right? So that's why that was already understood by Vyasadeva, and out of compassion he created that literature, Mahabharata. The friends of the twice born families are those who are born in the families of Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, or spiritually cultured families, but who themselves are not equal to their forefathers. Okay, so they are born in all these classes, but they are not behaving like their forefathers, or not equal to their forefathers. Such descendants are not recognized as such for want of purificatory achievements. The purificatory activities begin even before the birth of a child, right? Like this, what we do, uh, Garbhadan Samskar, which is fashionably called as baby shower, but there is no priest or coming. But yeah, many people follow also. There are many exceptions. But yeah, in India, many people still do that. So before birth, this all the purificatory ceremonies start. Um, the purificatory activities begin even before the birth of a child, and the seed giving reformatory process is called Garbhadan Samskar. One who has not undergone such Garbhadan Samskar or spiritual family planning is not accepted as being of an actual twice born family. The Garbhadan Samskar is followed by other purificatory processes, out of which the sacred thread ceremony is one. This is performed at the time of spiritual initiation. After this particular samskara, one is rigidly called, rightly called twice born. One birth is calculated during the seed giving samskara, and the second birth is calculated at the time of spiritual initiation. One who has been able to undergo such important samskaras can be called as a bona fide twice born. If the father and the mother do not undertake the process of spiritual family planning and simply beget children out of passion only, their children are called as Dvijabandhus. These Dvijabandhus are certainly not as intelligent as the children of regular twice born families. The Dvijabandhus are classified with the Shudras and the woman class, who are by nature less intelligent. The Shudras and the woman class do not have to undergo any samskara save and accept the ceremony of marriage. The less intelligent classes of men, namely women, Shudra, and unqualified sons of higher caste, are devoid of necessary qualifications to understand the purpose of the transcendental Vedas. Actually, yeah, this language sounds like this is like very derogative, but the meaning is not that. The qualification means like, you know, being able to study deeply. For that you require many things like qualification. The You require time, you require a peace of mind that you can just contemplate on that, which is not there, right? We have to worry for our children, home and all, so many things. So yeah, although the language feels like that, but the meaning is not exactly that. For them, the Mahabharata was prepared. The purpose of the Mahabharata is to administer the purpose of Vedas. And therefore, within this Mahabharata, the summary of Veda of Bhagavad Gita is placed. The less intelligent are more interested in stories than in philosophy. Therefore, the philosophy of Vedas in the form of Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Lord Sri Krishna. Actually, Srila Prabhupada treated his women disciples as good as his men disciples. And he gave Bhagavad Gita classes equally to everyone, right? Otherwise, he would have said that Bhagavad Gita is not meant for my women disciples, so they need not to sit in the class. But he's just like, establishing the fact that Vyasdev is very compassionate. He was very thoughtful about the upcoming generations of people, and that's how he developed these Vedas. I see many families in America, their children don't even know what is Ramayana, what is Mahabharat. And this is such a painful thing, that their parents don't care that they are forgetting the culture of India or the heritage. So father could be busy, right? He is working most of the time, but onus goes on mother, right? Children are most of the time are with mother when they are just growing up, they are just infants, right? So it becomes a big responsibility. Like Kashyap Rishi had two wives, Diti and Aditi. So Diti's children became Daityas and Aditi's children became the demigods. So mother, it's a huge responsibility on mother, right? So that's why if she is like well versed in the Vedas, which is Mahabharata is the fifth Veda, so she can impart that knowledge to her children. Many times when we take classes or in Gita camp, many children don't know who is Lord Ram, who are Pandavas. They have nothing to do with it. And that's why we run all these schools and Gita camp. Although it takes a quite a huge amount of time out of your schedule, to prepare and plan and do this that, but that's just a like a service, like a hope to create that culture. Or like, because of that, many families come together. They start with Bhagavad Gita lessons or Bhakti Vrikshas. So that's a added benefit of that. The less intelligent are more interested in stories than in philosophy, and therefore, the philosophy of Vedas in the form of the Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Lord Shri Krishna. Veda Vyas and Lord Krishna are both on the transcendental plane, and Vyasdev, huh? And therefore, they collaborated in doing good to the fallen souls in this age. The Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. It is the first book of spiritual values, as the Upanishads are. The Vedanta philosophy is the subject matter for study by spiritual graduates. Only the postgraduate spiritual students can enter into the spiritual or devotional service of the Lord. It is a great science, and the great professor is the Lord Himself in the form of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And persons who are empowered by Him can initiate others in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So, actually, Prabhupada gave everything to all of his disciples, equally. But yes, he is translating or giving a purport according to the verse. But he gave everything to all the disciples and treated everybody very lovingly at par with each other. Also taught them not to criticize each other based on their devotional progress or their color of skin or anything. So he was like a very very loving father. But he's establishing this because this verse covers that. Okay, so we will stop here on verse number 25. Yeah, today the purports were really small, so we could cover more. Okay, anybody wants to share anything out of both of you? If you liked anything or if you want to add anything. Uh, yeah, so we covered from 19 through 25 today. And we learned like how the one Veda was divided into four, and then it was entrusted to his four disciples, and the fifth Veda was given to Romaharshana, and then they all gave to their own disciples and grand disciples and great grand disciples, and therefore respective branches of followers of Vedas came into being, right? And Vyasdev was very kind to the ignorant masses. He could see in like in Kali Yuga, like it's everybody's intelligence is like Shudra. So he knew that. So out of compassion, he created Mahabharata also. So this is what we are learning about Vyasdev. But actually, they asked a question about Shukadev Goswami. So slowly we will come on that. It is just like a making a foundation for that. If there is nothing, we will stop here. I will see you on Thursday, most probably, because Chandramouli Maharaj's class is there in Kishore Kishori on Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi. It's so let's see if many are available, then we will. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarvishya kripa sindhu bhevcha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo. Hari Bol.